Hey y'all, hey, and welcome to another session of Meditations with Marigny. So today I wanted to hop on and give you guys a little nugget. I did one video earlier today where it was talking about something totally different, but this was not the specific video that I was going to do, but it is connected to what I was planning to do this morning before I did that other video. So I want to talk about the infamous word submission, right? And if you normally like my videos, if you would click like, I would appreciate it. If you would share it with a friend, I would love it. And if you would subscribe, I'd be totally happy. But I want to talk about the word submission. And ladies, this is specifically for you. Good information for men, but this part is specifically for you. And I want to talk to you about listening to what his needs are at this age and this stage. Again, many of the people who watch my channel, they are between the ages of like 40 and some of them 35, but it's very few in that range. The majority of the women in the range for me is 45 to 65. And, we women that are watching my channel are watching it for the purpose of either learning about marriage, learning to strengthen their marriage, or for tips in reference to dating in a Christian manner. So I want to kind of skip past some of that because I'm going to have to do another video for what I wanted to talk about this morning. But specifically, I want to talk about submission because so many people see that as a negative word. And so many people see it as a point that it's not something that I think is celebrated. So when you are with someone, especially at this age, for instance, I know so much about what I do want. I know so much about what I can see myself with. I know so much about what I expect. And when I say I'm talking about do, want, can see myself with, I'm not talking about lofty expectations. I'm talking about some of the very basic things that are needs in a relationship. And so, and I even shared with a friend recently, if my husband, for those of you that know my story, I went through infidelity. If my husband had just cheated one time and we worked through that process, honestly, I believe we would still be married right now. Now, we had some other things that were going on in the marriage, but because that component was extremely important to me, that component became something that once he could not solidify that, then it was something that I wasn't able to really work through. But the other things that we had going on, some of the financial components, decisions that he made, things that he did that I really wasn't that happy about, those things we could have worked through that. But that's neither here nor there because I want to talk about women really knowing yourself and what you can submit to at this age and stage in your life, but also knowing what your desire is. So like for me, from a wife perspective, it has always been enjoyable for me to please the man that is in my life. So it was enjoyable for me to please my husband. I want y'all to think about that. It didn't mean that I was dumb, stupid, less than a woman, any of that. But it was enjoyable to me when I saw him smile from certain things that I did for him or certain characteristics that I had that, he found joyous in me. So I'm saying that because you guys, I've been thinking about my hair. And I know y'all probably noticed, y'all like, okay, what's she doing with her hair? She letting it grow out? She doing what? So I have not colored my hair in a while. I didn't color it because I have really been on the fence about getting braids. And I was like, man, I think I'm going to get some braids. And so I went ahead, I made the appointment a couple of weeks ago and I pushed it out. I have an event that I'm going to next weekend. And I was like, I'm going to push it out to see whether or not I'm going to get the braids. And I wanted to push it out far enough so that the braids would be kind of fresh for the event that I'm going to, right? So, in the process of dating, many people that I talk to, they like my natural hair. They love my hair. They love it the way that it is, right? And I know that. I mean, many guys have told me that or whatever. And I'm like, well, thank you. I don't think anything about it. This is where you have to look at, and I want to say, instead of looking at submission, look at synchronization, synchronizing your life with his. If this is someone that you might could see yourself with long term, and that's what we have to look at. There have been many guys that I've met and I've talked to them, and they're great quality men. But when I looked at them 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the line, I didn't see where I could see myself with them. I didn't see where I could possibly submit to them. And when I say submit, I could synchronize my life with his and it be something that I wanted to do. Because submission is a desire. You have to want to do that. And what has happened in many relationships is people have tried to force that component, you know, um, saying, I'm the man, I'm the head of the house, this, that, and the other. For a woman that wants to submit, you don't ever even have to say that. You might have some disagreements and you might have some times where y'all have bumps in the road and things of that sort, but that's a normal part of life. But as far as having somebody that you got to tell her that or command that you are the lordship of your house, that ain't finna happen. So anyway, if you are synchronizing yourself or you are allowing yourself to see yourself being able to submit to someone, sometimes you have to look at the little things. You guys know I talked about Ella May has that song, The Little Things. Go back and listen to that. That's a beautiful song and she makes a lot of great points in it. So recently I was talking with someone, and been very good vibes, things of that sort. And in us talking, we've talked about family, marriage, like what that looks like, what components are important, da 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 da. So we've always talked about my hair, and that's been something that has always been a compliment. But we were talking and I said, hey, you better enjoy this hair while you can, because they said something about, the fact that my hair is so pretty and, um, just they really like it. And so I said, I think I'm getting ready to put some braids in. And I could hear, we were on the phone, I could hear his response. And he said, braid. And I said, yeah. And he said, oh man, like what? So I said, what? I said, I'm trying to figure out a way that I can do my hair without worrying about it, this, that, and the other. I gave a whole explanation. And his response was, he said, I like your hair just like it is. And he was like, I can't run my fingers through no braids, So in my head, I said, wait a minute. When you think about it, sometimes, ladies, the things that we are thinking about are not important to him. Those things, and when I say the things that we are thinking about, I was thinking about the point of convenience and, what it would do for me. I love when I get braids because I get a little sassy attitude. It's going to be raised up. My attitude going to be a whole lot higher than it is right now. And I'm saying that because after we got off the phone, I thought about it and I said, that's important to him. The way my hair is important to him. And some women would see that as a controlling point. He never said, I don't want you to get the braids. He never said, you can't get the braids. He never said, I don't think you'll look nice with the braids. He never said any of that. It was what he didn't say that I was listening to. And so what I had to look at is there are some people that I've talked to and met that I wouldn't have cared what they said. I would have just went right on. But it mattered to me that that was important to him. Now, does that mean that I won't never get braids or something like that if this person was to be my person? No, that doesn't mean that. But it means that I'm listening to what he said and I'm taking heed to it. I am considering it. And ladies, that's all that I believe that most men who are desiring to have someone of companionship in their life is looking for. Somebody that is at least going to hear what his concerns are. So we'll revisit this conversation and, I don't know what decision that I'm going to make because one of the things I told him is that I'm on the fence about whether I was going to get the braids. I said, I really don't want to do it. And the issue is for me is I don't like my hair in the in-between stage. For most women, we understand that there's an in-between stage when you're growing your hair out, like it's too short to do certain styles, and then it's too long to do a short style. So that in between stage, usually I get braids because it gives my hair the time that it needs to grow 2 to 4 inches. And then by the time I grow it out a little bit, then I can go and get it cut, get it trimmed, get it styled, or I can get it pressed out or something like that. Going into the wintertime, I might press it out because it's winter and it won't be so hot. So I'm saying that to you ladies because what are your parameters for understanding what submission looks like? Submission doesn't have to be a negative thing. It has to be something that you understand will synchronize your relationship. And so I don't know what decision that I'm going to make. What I will say is that if you guys follow me, you're going to have to keep following me for the next week or so to find out whether or not by next weekend I either get braids or I decide to make an appointment and I go and get my hair trimmed. And so I really just felt, I won't even say led to come on and do this, but it was like an aha moment for me, because somebody else probably could have said that to me and it may not have meant anything. But this particular person, by him saying it to me, it meant something. So I want you to key into the factors of, and again, I'm talking about someone who you may be in tune with or talking with long term, not just somebody that you just met or are just casually seeing. I'm talking about someone that you could possibly see yourself as his lady. You could see yourself as his missus. And if you can, long term, can you then feel that same way and make those adjustments for him? Like, is he bringing that component to the table that would make you want to consider that? So that's just something to think about. And I just want you guys to take heed to it. Don't look at it as submission. Look at it as synchronizing your lives. You're bringing two households that might be separate together. And how do you do that? How do you do that if he has a house already, you have a house already, and you guys got to figure out how to come up under one roof? What do you do if, he's stable in where he is and perhaps he's still working? And do you have an option to perhaps move to where he is and be flexible in that? Um, you know, one of the reasons that I looked at getting my degree in this particular field that I'm working on now is so that it would give me the flexibility that I don't have to just have my options right here in my local city. So I think that that's a good thing because it also opened me up to be able to talk to people that maybe not be from right around in this metro Atlanta area. So other than that, yeah, guys, I just want to say, think about it from a positive place. Think about how you are listening to what his needs are. And then how do you respond to that? Like, you have to know, I could feel it through the telephone. I felt that all the way through the phone, like just in his conversation. So I could only imagine what it would have been like if I had been in his presence. So take the time to know that it's not about just submitting, but it's about synchronizing your life. It's about looking at what you feel like you could give to him long term. Do I feel like I could submit to this guy over a period of time? Do I think that I could follow his leadership? Do I feel like I'm comfortable enough that if he says something like that to me, he did never say directly, don't get the braids, but he said enough to me that I knew that that's not necessarily something that he would prefer that I do. So y'all will have to come back next week to see whether I did or not. I haven't decided. I didn't cancel the appointment just yet. I thought about it because I was already on the fence. So in some ways, that might have just been my deciding factor. All right, y'all. I've enjoyed chatting with you. I just want you to think about, are you submitting or are you synchronizing? And either way, as a woman who wants to be a wife, you have to figure out a way to make that happen and make that come together from a godly and a Christian perspective. All right. Love y'all. Click like, share it with a friend, and subscribe. Bye.